Do you ever worry that you're not enough? Not attractive enough, not funny enough, not cool enough, not desirable enough, not rich enough? Just like not enough. Girl, if that's you, you are not alone. Today we're covering a viewer question about just that. But first, hey there. If you don't already know me, my name is Brian G. Murphy. I'm an active educator and certified relationship coach, and on this channel, we cover all things dating, relationships, sex, and life. So whether you're single, monogamous, in an open relationship, polyamorous, or something else entirely, if you want insightful, actionable advice, click subscribe below for new videos every Wednesday afternoon. Today we have another viewer question. This one is going to be anonymous, and he writes, my boyfriend asked to be open because he says he really enjoys sex with other guys. The question I always ask is, why am I not enough? And he says that's a selfish way to think. Is it selfish to think that with as much as I do for him, I should be the one he focuses on? So first off, this is a very, very, very common question. I think it's one of the most common questions that I get from guys that are considering opening up a relationship and maybe having some reservations about it. Like, why am I not enough? Or why is he not enough? That taps into so many of our deepest insecurities. This just fear of like, am I really enough? That is a very human experience, to worry that you're not enough. And many people turn to their romantic relationships to shield them from that fear of not being enough, to make them feel like, yes, in fact, you are just completely enough. And so for some people, open relationships and polyamory seem to undercut that protective shield. Now, actually, I think that open relationships or polyamory can leave you feeling more secure in your relationship and more secure with yourself, but I'll get to that in just a bit. Before I do, though, I just want to flag that our culture tells us to think about sex and relationships differently than we do just about anything else. No one is surprised if you have more than one favorite food, or if you want to go to a different restaurant sometimes. As much as I love guacamole, I also sometimes want a good Philly cheesesteak. And no one is surprised if you want to go to vacation in different spots. And of course, like most people have more than one friend. And that doesn't mean that their friends aren't enough. In fact, some people have multiple best friends.
Best friend isn't a person, Danny, it's a tier.
And we definitely don't think that a child is not enough if a parent decides to have 2 or 3 kids, or however many kids the Duggars have these days. So it's not about whether you're enough or he's enough or your relationship is enough. Instead, it's simpler than that. It's just recognizing that sometimes, like oftentimes, people have multiple interests. And it's about recognizing that we're human relational creatures and that we thrive when we have a network of friends and connections and family to take care of us. It can be about trusting that love is abundant and that it multiplies when it's shared rather than being diminished. So just because your boyfriend wants to do something or someone else than you doesn't mean that you're not enough. You are enough, just as you are. And also, it's also true that we're complex social creatures and we thrive in multiple relationships. We're not supposed to be isolated by ourselves or isolated just with one person. Now, of course, lots of people are in monogamous relationships and that works for them, and that's great. And also, polyamory or an open relationship doesn't take away or doesn't need to take away from what you have and how you relate to each other, what you mean to each other. Most of us have a bunch of different people in our lives with varying interests and varying points of overlap. Sex and dating are no different. They can be part of that mix too. Now, I really love the question that you end on. This is what you said. Is it selfish to think that as much as I do for him, I should be the one that he focuses on? And I absolutely agree with you. It's completely natural to want your partner to focus on you. That's like one of the big points of being in a relationship, right? So it isn't necessarily who or what he's spending his time and attention on. Any number of things could take up his focus, whether that's work or family or hobbies. All of us, even you, I'm guessing, have a bunch of different areas of focus. And so rather than focusing on all of those other areas of focus, I'm going to say focus a lot here, rather than focusing on all those other areas of his focus, it might make me be more helpful to focus on the one area that's most important to you. And that's you and your relationship with him. Because that's ultimately what you care about most, right? So start there. Okay, so at the beginning of this video, I said that open relationships and polyamory can actually end up making you feel more secure with yourself and in your relationships. But how does that even work? This video is getting a little bit long, so I'm actually going to make a part 2, a second video that dives into that. Click here to watch that. Remember to subscribe for new videos every Wednesday afternoon. Hit the notification bell so that you don't miss them. I'll see you real soon, and hopefully I'll see you over there.